Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Larry Mazza, Matt Granahan. What's up, guys?
How you doing?
I'm
Happy
doing
holidays.
great.
Happy New Year. Hey, I got
Happy
a quick
New
question.
Year.
Quick question. I
Yeah.
like the promo. You got that gun that turns and shoots. Go look at the cover of my book again. There's a gun with a bullet flying out. You didn't steal it from me, did you?
No.
Yeah, but
I gotta check that out. I do have your book, matter of fact, right under here.
All right.
Gotta check it out. There's a major production going on that people might not be aware of. It's called The Soldier Laughs. You want to tell the people what that entails?
I'd be happy to. A lot of people have seen the making of The Godfather, The Offer, and that's where it sprung from, because so many guys like myself and Sammy and Mike Francesi and others, it's endless, obviously, are trying to get their stories to the big screen or to TV. And it's a very tough road to get there. There's a lot of backstabbing along the way. There's a lot of lying. There's a lot of people trying to rob you. It's just like the street life we come from, maybe worse.
Yeah.
So I hooked up with this writer who does plays. And we said, why don't we write a play about just that? A guy like me who wrote a book. I mean, and it's taken me a long way. I've been with Scorsese, De Niro. You guys know that already. But still, the stars haven't aligned for me to get to a show. Although I do have Terry Winter. He did write the script. So we're a lot closer. But in the meantime, we had this project to show the people. You'll get bits and pieces. Like I said, you'll get a little bit of Sammy's stuff. You'll get a little bit of my stuff. But they're not portraying me, because anybody that knows me will know that guy on the stage, the soldier, is more of a thug. He's more of a street level thug. But he's funny and he laughs about everything and he thinks he's going to bamboozle. That's how he came in. He plays the part pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Who the fuck is this guy? First of all, who's this? STAXX triple X? What are you, a fucking brother producer?
So I get it. It's a theater, Matt. It's a theater.
I love it.
So,
look at this.
Anyway, it seemed to be interesting. It's a little bit funny. It's a little raw. You know, we've talked about toning some of it down.
Well, let me interrupt you for a second, Larry. Staxx likes it raw.
But that's the type of character it is, and so it's not me, obviously. I mean, I would hope not. So, but the idea came about that road trying to make it happen, and very few people get it to happen, and the few that did probably got screwed because they didn't really understand Hollywood. Like, you know, what's his name? The original Goodfellas guy. Who was that?
No,
the guy, the actor, Henry Hill.
Henry Hill.
Yep. You know, comes out, he got screwed. He got hardly any money.
Died broke.
Yeah,
he died broke.
So, you know, now it's come a long way, so people know better. You get yourself not an agent, but an attorney, an entertainment attorney, and I have all that through my producers. So I'm in a little bit of a better position, and we're partners. You know, that's been documented in writing. We're partners. So Eddie's not the type of guy that, you know, I know him too long now, but I'm going off track. So anyway, getting back, you need somebody like that if you're going to get into Hollywood. And he started Mob TV. And that's a place where we could probably stream this play to get it out there, to get people to see it. We got the station, Mob TV. It's now Infamous TV, because it's more than just mob, but it's all about crime and stuff. So
is it an app? Is it an app that people can watch?
You go to Plex TV and you can punch in Infamous TV or Mob TV, but it now comes under Infamous. They've put them together. Terry Winter is partners in that, so that's a big deal. Joe Paletta is partners. That's the two main guys that I'm dealing with. But back to the play. Be realistic about it. We want to get it out there. put two good actors on the stage. I'll introduce it, maybe narrate parts of it, or the intermission come out, and I'll be part of it. And I think it's a great idea. I think we could pull it off and eventually stream it somewhere. Not only a play, but also on TV. And what else brought this about was during the pandemic, you couldn't film anything. Everybody had to be 6 feet apart. So we said, this is a two-man show. You got a writer behind the desk. You have the wise guy on the other side of the desk, and they're going back and forth. When the writer gets a little sarcastic, what do you think you know about writing? And the actor comes in and says, what does he say?
Who the fuck are you?
See, I don't want to use
Staxx?
those words.
What do you think about writing? Eh? You know something, Staxx? I don't think you even know how to write your own name. But in all seriousness, Bill Staxx, Larry laid it out extremely well, extremely smoothly. So I want to talk about how I got involved in this whole deal. I don't know the playwright, but apparently he's a grantomaniac. He's followed me, and you guys know I can entertain, whether it's mixed martial arts, MMA, professional wrestling, stand-up comedy, crooning. Larry's heard me sing on quite a few occasions. You give me a little scotch and a microphone, and I can light up the room, but never stage acting. But this play is not based on Larry. It's inspired by his book, The Life, which is a great book, which is a great story. And I've known for decades the types of characters that this movie is based on, these thugs that it's based on. It's not based on Larry. Larry is as intelligent a businessman, but I know a lot of thugs. And I can play this role very well. And what we want to do is we want to bring this to just a single show, just one show. We want to go slow, and we want Larry to host it. The question of who will play the writer is up in the air right now in Florida. It could potentially be Lawrence, Larry's son, who's a very accomplished actor, but he has a lot going on. It might be another great friend of ours, a fellow MMA veteran, but a man who is also a UFC veteran, a great guy by the name of Jason Reinhardt.
One more I want to throw in.
Yeah.
It's Greg DeFrancia. He was my fellow hitman in The Irishman, and he was in the Green Book. He was in that TV series Power.
Yeah.
He'd be perfect also. So we've got options, and get that first show rolling, film it,
Just the one show.
and get it, and see how it goes. And we got a venue. We've got a couple of venues.
Talk about the venues, Larry.
Yeah.
You got some fantastic.
Well, there's 3 or 4 places down here. One of them, the one that my son worked at for years as an actor, Cocoa Village Playhouse. I believe it's a little too raw for this type of place. It's a little town. They do The Sound of Music. They do Some Like It Hot. They do a lot of comedy, Chicago, things like that.
More conservative there, right?
But now I also have a friend that I can go to, Alfie Silva, who has his own place called the Tangiers. And he is a incredible impressionist. He does Elvis, Tom Jones, Dean Martin. He's renowned for Dean Martin. He does a Christmas special every year. And he has now his own dinner theater, and it looks a lot like your backdrop. He's theater up there with all the chairs and tables in front. And, he's got plenty of nights open. He can't sing 7 nights a week. And he brings in other people. So that would be a great one because it's already set up like a Vegas venue. So, we'll obviously pay him for his facility, work something out, and we could, I think we could fill that up if we promote it properly. And then it's got to be good. It could get to Vegas. If you put a good show on a few times, maybe one of the casinos, not the big Coliseum, but you could fill up a showroom at 3 nights a week. There's so many people in Vegas, and they hear this mob show, and you build it the right way. People will come, and then
100%.
maybe somebody in Chicago. Eventually, if it keeps going well.
Maybe somebody in Connecticut,
Connecticut.
Bill Staxx, who
Right.
was asked to play the writer up
Yeah.
there when it comes to the
That's right.
Northeast, right?
Right.
Hey,
Also, you know,
I'm
then
open
again,
for it. You
then
know.
you can get off Broadway. This may take 3, 4, 5 years. You know, maybe
Yeah.
whatever.
And
Then you can get to Broadway, but you can't go in with this delusion, especially if you don't have the funding.
And I want to clarify this for your audience, and Larry knows this, and you know this, Bill. My interest in and involvement in this project, I have a lot of other things going on, and I'm really at the stage of life where I enjoy life. I don't want to travel all over the country. My only interest is to do this role here in Florida, and will be my honor to do the very first one, and perhaps the first few with Jason Reinhardt, and then
In
pass the baton here in Florida, and then pass the baton on to New York and on to Las Vegas. So I like to keep it simple. I like to keep it reasonable. I like to get it done. And
Yeah.
I think that's the main reason why Larry and I want to come on the show, because what we're building to is hopefully announcing a date,
Mhm.
and I'd like to announce one fairly soon, of the first show. I just want to get one show. That's it, just one show, and just go from there and blossom from there. And how cool is this? I mean, Larry, let's talk about it. Bill, let's talk about it. The reason why this quote unquote mob genre is becoming so popular, and I was adverse to all this stuff for a while, is because it's old school. People want to step back in time. People want vintage. They want old school. They want characters. People are sick of the mundane. They're sick of the political correctness. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you something right now, Larry and Mr. Staxx. I want to tell you something. This play has dialogue that would make Sam Kinison and Andrew Dice Clay blush.
Yeah, that's whether that's a
Right,
good thing or
Larry?
not. Yeah, no,
Carlos Carr,
could open up.
amazing man.
He could play
absolutely.
30
We'd love to have him
30
over. Talk
minutes.
about Carlos a little,
well,
Larry.
Carlos is our Sinatra guy. I mean, he wrote the Life, the theme song to the Life. Most people love that song. I don't. You've heard it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's a special song. Sinatra would die to do this song.
Let me
It's
tell
called The
you,
Life. Just go on YouTube, The Life.
beautiful
And,
song.
but so I'm saying he could open with 30, 45 minutes of music while people are having a few cocktails, which is good for the venue. Then
Yeah.
sit down, and then we do our test run, do a show, and who knows? You got to start somewhere.
And let me expound upon that before we close out with you. Carlos Carr, I have had the absolute honor of being a guest in his home with Larry and performing in his music room with him, as well as performing with him at a venue here in the Cocoa Beach area, the Bally Bar. And this man is a legendary crooner. He was the man in Chile. He brought his act, and he had the #1 television show in Chile for some time in the 80s, and then brought his act to Las Vegas. He is legendary, and that is a great point. I didn't even think of that.
Yep,
Larry,
yep.
Let's just picture this, and let's kind of
That's
close.
a night out.
Absolutely.
It's a whole night out.
Let's close with this. Let's paint the picture for the audience, Mr. Staxx, and let's close with this. Imagine a night out. You get dressed up, looking as only you can look, Mr. Staxx. You come into the theater. You're welcomed with a sign-up sheet for my legal enterprises, as well as Mr. Jason Reinhardt's life insurance, or because we know we're going to have people of means coming in. You sit down at one of these beautiful venues, and you're treated to Carlos Carr crooning in the old school Sinatra, Dean Martin crooner style. And then he closes out his short set with The Life, the song that he wrote that was inspired by Larry's book. And then before the curtain opens, Larry takes the mic. He tells you about his life in the life. He sets the stage, and the curtain opens, and you're treated to the greatest two-man show one could be treated to. 60 to 70 minutes of pure, unadulterated entertainment. The great entertainment and great entertainers are those that help you suspend reality. And one thing that I can guarantee to any of you that come to see this premiere or watch this premiere online, because it's going to be videoed, is we will help you to step outside yourself and suspend reality and give you a night of unprecedented entertainment. Because if there's one thing the King of Connecticut is, and if there's one word that kind of encapsulates who the King of Connecticut is, that word is entertainer.
One thing I have to ask you guys is the first episode going to be invite only?
That's a good question. Discussed that. We discussed giving away maybe a book or buying a book and coming in. The life. I'll sign it.
Or you can raffle tickets off.
So,
you can
well,
raffle
that would be. You know what? That would be like a grand book signing. All this plus the book. We could figure that all out. But like I said, there's going to be a bar there, so the venue is going to be fine. Our first time, we don't have to make money. We just have to be successful and get a good feedback, so we know we could do it again and promote it. But again, you got to start somewhere. But that's a great question. I'm glad you asked it. We probably got to zero in on that. And
speaking of which, Larry and I have to go because we actually have a call and we're going to be working out the kinks for this first show. So I just want to say Happy New Year to both of you gentlemen. And Mr. Staxx, it is always the utmost pleasure to be a guest on your program.
Yes,
definitely. I appreciate you guys taking the time. And if this all works out, I'm open for the writer. You already know.
Yep, absolutely. Well, stay in
100%.
touch. If you got an opening along the way, you want me to come on, spend some time with you, I'll be more than happy to. You know that.
Definitely. I
All right,
appreciate
Phil.
you guys. And if you guys like this content, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And if you don't like this content, start your own podcast. Peace. Thanks, man.